G'day guys, Dan from the Fishing Guru. So today we just want to have a really quick chat with you about these release weights. So now I'm fairly new to the subject of these, so I've actually asked for a little bit of help today from a friend of ours. So this gentleman, he's done a lot of talks around Adelaide recently. He's helped out a lot of game fishing clubs. He's done a lot of chats with various groups and stuff. So we've asked for his assistance in order to get our message across and hopefully show you guys why these are so good and how to effectively use them. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the current chairman of MRFAC, or the Minister's Recreational Fishing Advisory Council of South Australia, Graham Keegan. So Graham, just need you to... Thanks, mate.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to Guru Central.
Thanks for coming along, mate. We really appreciate it. So Graham, tell us what these release weights are for and why we use them.
Okay. Snapper are a demersal fish. Like any bottom feeding fish, they don't travel very well to the surface. In water from 10 metres plus, they're susceptible to barotrauma. Okay? And barotrauma is the gassing of the swim bladder. You've probably all seen it. They get bulging eyes.
That's when you pull them out and it comes out of the mouth as well.
Guts out the mouth and the anal vent. They don't release well. You throw those fish back in the water and they're a dead fish.
Yeah, they sort of float on the top, don't they? And they can't get back down.
I've been down tied from other fishermen and they've floated past.
Yeah.
Right? It's a real problem. Now, we want to do the best for these fish, and in the light of what we've got now, we've got snapper problems in this state and closures, and let's look after these fish. So all the science tells us that returning these fish quickly to the bottom gives them a better chance of survival. Right? The success rate is probably around 10%. It's a lot higher than other things like venting or just putting the fish back and hoping for the best. Okay? When you, by the way, catch a fish with the guts out and the eyes bulged, refrain from pricking. Do not prick that. That's a dead fish. Okay? It's the last thing you want to do.
That's the venting, yeah?
No, venting is actually using a needle to vent the swim bladder.
Okay.
It's proven to be not as good as release weights.
Okay.
And under PERSA rules, it's deemed as probably damaging the fish. So let's not go near venting tonight. We'll just talk about release weights. Now, there's 3 release weights here. There's the smaller one, the 32 ounce.
We've actually got a 24 ounce.
Oh, 24, sorry.
We've got a 32 ounce and we've got a 48 ounce.
So you're talking inshore water here, 10 to 15 metres, low tide. And then we start getting to the 32 ounce, deeper water, faster tides, and then the 48 ounce, which, you know, you're talking Spencer Gulf, Backstairs Passage, deep water, fast tides. I carry all 3 for those scenarios. PERSA wants you to carry a minimum of 40 in the boat. So you want this job, okay?
Because I think essentially if you're going to carry one and you're going to fish the shallower water and the deeper water, they want to make sure you're covered for the the deepest water.
Yeah, absolutely. And
ideally, I know that I've got 3 of them in my boat.
Yep.
I don't really want to use the 48 when I'm only fishing 9 metres of water. Sure. I'm worried about damaging the fish. So.
Yeah, look, and you know, if we talk about best practice, and best practice according to PERSA is 2 people. You know, you've got the fish in the boat. Well, we're going to show you this in a minute. You hook the release weight on. You've got the fish and the release weight. The other fella's got the fishing rod or a hand line, okay? Now, when you're up here at 48 ounces, that's going to be a serious fishing rod. I don't think it's practical. I really don't, okay? So, I'm the hand line guy, okay? It's 3 to 4 mil cord. I've got about 50 metres on this hand line and a release weight tied ready.
You could use a fishing rod too, though, yeah?
You could use a fishing rod.
Like a heavy rod.
Wants to be substantial.
Yeah, a bit of 100-pound mono or something.
Yeah.
Stick a shark hook on there. Just above the release weight. No, don't do
that. no, don't do that. I wouldn't like to be hanging on to that.
No, don't do that.
Tax man comes along. So let's walk through this. We're fishing. We've got a snapper and we know it's a snapper, okay? The best chance for survival of this fish is not to reef him in fast and hard. You can tell it's a snapper by the knocks. Bring him in steady, enjoy the fight, get him to the surface. Now let's talk about a smaller fish, okay? So we've got a fish around the 2 kilo mark, you know, around that area. Get him into the boat, cradle him, get him into the boat onto a cloth, a nice wet cloth, okay? Now, we can't show you the bench here, so I'll get my friend Daniel here to hold the fish up.
Alright, so we've got a fish here, guys. Now, due to the snapper ban in South Australia currently, unfortunately we couldn't go out and catch a snapper to show you, but we do have a little nannygai here, which is very, very similar species. They're in very similar areas. You tend to catch either or if you're fishing for them. So this will suffice for the sake of the video. So
it's our nanny snapper.
Yeah, it's our nanny snapper.
And I got to tell you,
here we go.
He doesn't smell real good right now, but we're dealing with that. Now, the idea of this weight is to get it around the jawbone. Okay?
I might move it a little bit closer to the camera.
Closer, so I'm going to try and do this so you can see it. We'll get in, and we're around the jawbone. So that fish now is ready to be released. Okay? So don't throw him in. Get him to the side, put him in the water, let the hand line run through your right hand, and off he goes. Okay? Now, there's a lot of talk about doing that slow, but he'll come off like that. Right? Let him go all the way to the bottom. All right? All the way to the bottom. You'll feel the bump, hold the hand line, pull it up, and he's gone.
So the idea behind the release weight essentially is that weight will force the fish down to the bottom, down. Hopefully reversing the effect of the barotrauma.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. And like I said before, all the tests have shown it is the superior way to release these fish. Now, if you're on your own, doing that with a small fish is quite easy. Now, I'll just step back a little bit. If we get the fish onto the wet cloth, get the hook out with pliers. If you notice the hook's deep, cut him off. Don't muck around, don't kill him, don't pull on it, just cut it off, all right? Over time, that hook will disappear, all right? Now, if you're on your own or you're with a mate under best practice and you get a big fish, then, I don't know, I can show this.
I reckon we'll get it in there somehow. There we go.
But an enviro net, you don't want a net with rope and knots. You want to really look after this fish. Okay, so get under the fish, get him onto the floor of the boat, remove the hooks, get the weight in, then either on your own with your left hand or with your mate, put him into the water, okay, with the release weight in his mouth, and then quickly pull the net and let him go. Okay? And he's on his way to the bottom.
So buy Environet. Environet's actually a brand. So buy Environet, what Graham means is essentially a net which is knotless. So there's a lot of really good options out there on the market. Generally, they're a silicon type net, like Graham just showed. There's some other nylon sort of hybrid ones out there that are knotless as well. But the reason why Graham and also Purser recommend using these nets, and we essentially plead with you to use these nets, is because being knotless, they don't damage the fish as much as what another one would. They don't get their spines caught up in them as well. So it just means minimizing the impact of that fish and then maximizing in return the chances of
survival. And when you get him in the water, it's far easier to get him out.
Of course.
So the obvious things to look for here is, quick speed. Get the hook out quick, cut it off if you need to. Don't put him on a hot surface. Get him back into the water as quick as you can and let him go. All right. These will get down to the bottom pretty quickly, and our old mate, the nanny snapper, has got the best chance of survival.
The nanny snapper.
The nanny snapper.
That's all I'm chasing from now on.
The
nanny snapper.
The nanny snapper. All right. I think that's it, my friend.
Well, where can we find them? Let's tell them where they can find them. So, release weights, they're a fairly new product to the market. There is a Western Australian company that's been making them for a little while. I'm not sure if they do deal direct to the public. Here in Adelaide, we've actually got an amazing local sinker maker by the name of Savage Tackle is the business, and they make them locally in the 3 sizes that we mentioned earlier. I actually stock them. A lot of really good tackle stores stock them as well locally, and I know there's some going interstate. So guys, if you want to get them, and especially if you're interstate as well, I know there's some parts of the country where it's actually a requirement if you're going fishing that you do need to have these on the boat, and that's just those areas are increasing every month as well. So absolutely. Yeah, it's a really, really good thing, guys. So even if it's not mandatory in your area, we plead you to please consider grabbing one or tracking one down. We've got online options available. If your tackle store doesn't have it, it's not actually hard for them to find them as well. So, and hopefully get them in for you. So hopefully that's cleared up a few questions. We'd really love to see these being used as much as possible. They're a really amazing invention. They're a really amazing device to to sort of maximise the chance of survival. It's never, unfortunately, going to be 100%, but at least these will give them a fighting chance. So thank you very much, Graham. We really appreciate your time today, mate.
You're welcome.
And your knowledge as well, sharing that with us. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this has helped out a lot and cleared a few clouds around the whole release weight thing, which is, like I said, fairly new. And yeah, any questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm pretty easy to find on socials via the Fishing Guru, and we'll try and answer the questions as best we can. Or you can also direct your questions to the MRFAC Facebook page, which has just been established as well. So
absolutely.
Cheers, guys, and happy fishing.